This is the story of the Egyptian Revolution of 1919. A revolution so violent they had to stop showing movies in the country for weeks. A revolution where the people fought back against the most powerful empire in the world at the time, the British Empire. But before we get into it, make sure you stay till the end, because I have a big surprise for you. This is going to be a story that will blow your mind. The year is 1919, and the place is Egypt. You are watching an Egyptian movie about a heroic soldier who fights against the Turks. He liberates Egypt with his fellow countrymen and becomes a national hero. And then suddenly the lights go on, and you realize it's not a movie, it's reality. But this is not good news. The great liberator you just saw on the screen is not an Egyptian. He is British. His name is General Edmund Allenby, and he has just arrived in Cairo. This was meant to be a celebration, but you can't help but feel angry and humiliated. For the past 4 years, the British have occupied Egypt after promising the Egyptians they would help them achieve independence. Now they seem to want to keep Egypt as their property forever. Who are you? You are a young Egyptian intellectual named Saad Zaghloul, leader of the Egyptian National Party and one of the most important figures in the struggle for Egyptian independence. You are also one of the millions of Egyptians who despise British rule. After 4 years of British occupation, everyone has had enough. And now that Allenby is here, you know things will only get worse. What are you going to do? Well, first, let me tell you a little more about yourself. You are a well-educated man. You went to a prestigious university in Cairo and worked as a teacher and lawyer. After the British came, you became politically active and founded the Egyptian National Party to drive them out. Since the British were occupying Egypt, you knew you couldn't fight them with weapons, so you decided to fight them with the weapon that had brought down empires in the past: knowledge. You wanted to educate the masses, the farmers and the workers, and tell them the British were not their liberators, but rather their oppressors. You wanted to show them how the British were exploiting them, stealing their resources and humiliating their culture. You wanted to show them how they were better than the British and how they could defeat them if they united. But there's a problem. Most Egyptians are illiterate and don't understand what you're saying, so you need to find a way to make them understand. That's when you have a brilliant idea. You will organize the first student protest in Egyptian history. You will shut down schools and universities across the country and march on Cairo, the capital of Egypt. You will show the British you are not just a few intellectuals, but millions of Egyptians who hate British rule. And as soon as you start planning, you know this will not be easy. It's not just the British who are against you. Many influential people in Egypt don't want independence. They benefit too much from British rule to risk it all for a dream of freedom. Your friends and family are worried about your plan and try to convince you to abandon it. But you won't listen. You believe this is the best chance Egypt has to become free. On March 1919, you lead thousands of students in a peaceful demonstration through the streets of Cairo. They chant slogans like, "Leave our country, O foreigners," and "Long live Egypt, independent and free." At first, everything seems to be going your way. The British are surprised by the size of the protest and don't know what to do. Suddenly, the crowd starts getting violent and attacks British soldiers. You watch in horror as they beat up the protesters, killing many of them. You run away as fast as you can, hiding in the house of one of your friends. But you know this is just the beginning. You have ignited the anger of the masses, and there is no going back now. You are hunted by the British, who want to punish you for starting the riots. But you don't care. You have seen what the British are capable of, and you won't back down now. You are ready to fight them until the end. Meanwhile, the British are furious. They did not expect the Egyptians to resist them so fiercely. They thought they would bend them easily with their superior weapons and force. But they were wrong. The Egyptians are brave and determined, and the British have to do something to stop them. They arrest you, Sadiq, along with other leaders of the protest, and put them in jail. But this does not stop the movement. The people of Egypt continue to fight the British, attacking them in the streets and sabotaging their infrastructure. The British are desperate and don't know what to do. They ask for reinforcements from India and bring in more troops to put down the rebellion. But this only makes things worse. The more British troops come, the angrier the Egyptians get. The British are trapped in Egypt and don't know how to escape, and then suddenly a ray of hope appears on the horizon. You have a friend in high places, Lord Curzon, Viceroy of India. He is a powerful man who can influence the British government to end their occupation of Egypt. You write him a letter explaining the situation and begging him to help you, and miraculously he agrees. He organizes a meeting between you and the British leadership and tries to convince them to give Egypt independence. Finally, it is done. The British agree to give Egypt independence, and you are free to go. You lead the new government of Egypt and try to rebuild the country after the damage caused by the war. You know this is a historic moment, and you must honor it by making Egypt a modern and democratic state. You work hard to improve the lives of the Egyptians and make them proud of their country. As you look around, you see Egypt is changing for the better. And you know it is all because of the courage of the students who dared to stand up against the British. But wait, there's more. You also see women playing an important role in Egyptian society for the first time. They are working as doctors, lawyers, and teachers, and even becoming members of parliament. You wonder, where did they come from? Well, let me tell you about one of them. Her name is Huda Sharawi, and she is a pioneer of the women's rights movement in Egypt. She was born in 1879 and grew up in a wealthy family. She received a good education and traveled to Europe to study medicine. When she returned to Egypt, she opened the first clinic in Cairo to treat women and children. She also became involved in politics and founded the Egyptian Feminist Union to fight for women's suffrage. She led several protests and demonstrations and was arrested many times by the British for her activities, but she never gave up. And finally, in 1923, Egyptian women got the right to vote. But her work was not done yet. She also fought for women's rights in other areas such as education, employment, and family law. She believed that women should have the same opportunities as men and should not be discriminated against. You see, her and many other women like her paved the way for future generations of Egyptian women to become doctors, lawyers, teachers, and politicians. You are proud of them, and you know that without their help, Egypt would not be the same. In 1924, you pass away. You leave behind a legacy of independence and democracy for Egypt. Your dream of a modern and progressive Egypt is fulfilled as the country becomes a leader in the Arab world. You may be gone, but your spirit lives on in the hearts of the Egyptians. And now it's time for you to ask yourself, what role did women play in the Egyptian Revolution of 1919? Well, if you enjoyed this video, you might also enjoy another video I made about women in ancient Egypt. You can check it out right here. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay curious.